Greetings and welcome to Wizards of Fun. My name is Eric, and we are back with another round of Constructed. This is round 4 at SorceryCon 3 in Indianapolis. Still so grateful that I got to go. Shaking the hands here with Cameron P in the Necromancer mirror match. So my deck I have linked below. I'm playing mostly water with a very slight splash of air simply for collection. Let's look at our hand here. We've got Plague of Frogs, Order of the Sacred Oak, and a Sacred Stag, as well as a Lighthouse, Undertow, and another Lighthouse. So one of those lighthouses can probably go. We only ever need double air threshold for the, I think, Murder of Crows in the collection. Otherwise, just a single is fine. So it looks like I'm even opting to get rid of the Undertow, as that can be a good card later in the game. In the early game, it doesn't do much. Maybe turn 3, you can pull your avatar out of the way, but opting to just not have it in my opening hand here. So we're just going to pitch 2 different sites, and a Mirror Realm and a Thin Ice looks much, much better. So this feels like a really good mulligan. Plague of Frogs, not sure how we'll exactly use that. Uh-oh.
What is that? I think that's like part of your deck. Just put it at the bottom? At the bottom, yeah. So, I mean, unless you have like a... What happened there? I don't know. I think you just dry. It just got dropped over. Huh. Okay.
Not sure what happened there. Looked like we had an extra card. Maybe when it was cut, it got left there.
Then maybe I'll just scry that. No. How should we do that? That goes on the bottom, whatever it was.
So, yeah,
Okay.
Because
it was on the bottom. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
and Cameron was just confirming. I think whatever card you were like contemplating was on the bottom. It just didn't get, like when it got cut, it got left on the bottom. So just leave it on the bottom. And then I'm scrying on the top because I'm going second. I see a Lacuna entity there. I was a little confused what happened here, but I just forgot. Also, respect to his skeleton tokens. I got a couple of those. Those are from the Team Covenant pre-orders for Gothic. I think I got 2, and I ended up selling mine because they were selling for $25 a pop, and I don't need tokens that, you know, I wanted to trade them for other cards. So he is opting for, I think that's a Joyous Guard, or one of the, Joyous Guard it looks like. So multiple colors. I think it's blue, water, and air. Or sorry, fire, water, and air. I'll confirm that here, but I believe that's the case. And then I'm doing a Lighthouse of my own. We each make a skeleton pass, so turn 1's pretty standard. Phone's not loading for whatever reason, but I believe Joyous Guard is those 3 colors.
Pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, it is blue, red, and air. And then I couldn't quite see it there. That was either a Gilman House or the other one. That one of them allows you to transform, one of them allows you to pull in adjacent units. Looks like Garden of Eden.
I think I'm going to... That would be hilarious.
Or wait.
You got jokes over there?
Dude, I have a
You
funny
got
one.
jokes?
That could be hilarious. If you do that, and then do that. Oh, that could be so funny. Let's just do it. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to Mirror Realm your Gilman House.
Yeah, so it's Gilman House, and I decided to just
I've seen that.
cast my own Mirror Realm, so I essentially get my own Gilman House, which is nice, and then I can move my own minions onto it and transform them,
Make a new one.
which feels hilarious. So that will be pretty interesting to see how many of those horrible hybrids we can get out of our collections. So playing in the mirror match is definitely refreshing, because whatever he is trying to play, I also have the opportunity to maybe capitalize on it.
So I have a couple turns. Okay.
So once either of us are at 4 water threshold, we can start doing that thing. Oasis.
I love it.
So looking so far that he's definitely Steam at the very least, and that's probably it. Polar Explorers on the back site, and a 3rd mana to create a skeleton. And then it looks like he might just attack my skeleton. Yeah, so we just trade those. He's just clearing those out of the way and moving one of his own. So he has kind of the tempo as far as having something on his own Gilman House, but
Alrighty then.
yeah, so far pretty mirrored up.
I think I'm going to tap for a...
Thin Ice always feels good. Just get it up front. Hopefully be able to pull things around with my Riptide. Order the Sacred Stag, Riptide. Order of the Sacred Oak and Plague of Frogs, I believe, is my hand. There might be one other card there I'm not quite seeing.
Yeah, I'll just
But for the 3 mana, it's probably just Order of the Sacred Oak on the front side there.
pay 3. I'll order.
Yeah, it's just a strong card. It's a card I definitely. It's funny as Gothic had come out and I saw that oh, and I have Maiden Mother Crone in the hand as well. Wow, somehow didn't catch that. So that will hopefully come into play later. But yeah, I saw a lot of decks running the Order of the Sacred Oak, and I didn't foresee it as being as strong as it actually is. But just the passive ability of not being able to destroy sites is just objectively good. But also just a 3/3 with ward. It's what people call a sticky minion, the sticky bandit. It is just hard to get it off the board effectively. You know, he can trade a skeleton into it, break the ward, and then cast a spell. But you had to trade a piece of cardboard and cast a spell for the turn just to get rid of a 3-power guy. It's quite a lot of value out of one single card. This feels good to play almost always. Floodplain allows you to flood an adjacent site that is not water. Or I guess you could flood something that's water and just nothing happens, but you can flood an adjacent site there. And just waiting to see what Cameron decides to do here. A quick shout out. I loved his outfit. He was rocking the cowboy hat and the duds. He was looking really sharp. Maybe one day I'll have the maybe I'll be cool enough one day to rock a cowboy hat. But I really liked his style. Thought it was cool. And yeah, in the mirror match, it's a lot of chess thinking here. So you can just see, I can only imagine what is going through his head. Looks like he does decide to opt to trade the skeleton in for the ward. Seems good. Oh, okay. And then Saracen Raiders comes in. Believe that costs 4 mana though to get the 3. So definitely, had to trade 2 pieces of cardboard for it. So it doesn't feel terrible for me. I mean, he was able to get rid of it, but it does cost a lot. 4 mana and a skeleton token. And he does have the ability to transform into the horrible hybrids here. Little surprised he doesn't do it. I would have thought he would have done it as soon as he hit 4 threshold. Tadpole Pool. So this is hilarious because we have Tadpole Pool, which is hard to say. And then we also have Plague of Frogs. So we'll have at least 3 that are submerged here. That Thin Ice is feeling like it's in a pretty good spot if we can get a Koi Nixie, but Riptide works too.
So we're at 4 mana. 4 Thresh.
But there's just not a lot that I have to interact with. As much as I want to play maybe a Plague of Frogs and spread frogs everywhere, it's like for what? He's got a... Can't quite see how many cards he has in hand, but I go ahead and start doing the horrible hybrids. I wonder if maybe he just... I don't know if he forgot, or maybe he just didn't want to. I don't know. Because I think transforming, even if it's tapped... Like, so his tapped skeleton, to be fair, would come in tapped, so maybe that's just not good enough. I pull in his Polar Explorers just to get it off of the back sight. And then I can move in and attack into it, killing it. Which feels like a great trade for me. And I got to draw a spell. I'm not sure what I drew. Again, I've been saying it in all my videos from SorceryCon, but moving forward, I'm going to try to... Alright, we have some time to talk here because we just played a Plague of Frogs, which is 7 more frog tokens, so this will take a second. But yeah, I have learned and hopefully will be improving on future events where I just maybe just back the camera up or just raise it up just a little bit higher. So even if I don't necessarily have to see my opponent's hand, I can at least see my own for the commentary purposes here. So thanks for bearing with me there.
Yeah, but it remains if it's your minion, it's your minion. If it's my minion, it's my minion.
I was wondering if it could still be done if it was submerged, but it would turn into a horrible hybrid, which is not.
Yeah, and I was asking, can I summon a submerged frog here and then transform it? It's like, sure, but it won't have submerged, so it'll just drown. So wouldn't want to do that. You could put one on top.
Submerge. No, on top.
Well, it's also his site though, so I couldn't do it. I don't think, right? Let me reread how Gilman House works.
5. Submerge 6.
Yeah, Gilman House, transform a minion here into a horrible hybrids from your collection. So it's not something I could do on my site.
I will pass my turn.
Or sorry, like I couldn't use his site as my own to transform my frog. So I just spread out a bunch of frogs. I've got 3 over on the right side there. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No,
And he's smiling because oh, Cameron, you dog. Casts the Pied Piper of Hamelin, which gains him control of all of my frogs and all of my skeleton tokens. So this is now really dire looking in, at least for now. That's a huge swing of uniques. Not that he's really going to be able to do a bunch of damage with this, but he can move a couple of those frogs on his own site and transform them. So now he has a bunch of horrible hybrids from my froggies, and I can't do it the following turn. So, Pied Piper, whoever has it on the field is, actively winning in the Necromancer mirror match. Of course, unless I draw one of my own, which then will negate it. If I draw one and cast it, mine takes over the previous. It's a very, very strong card. If you have not picked up a Pied Piper of Hamelin and you're running water, especially if you're running Necro, but if you're playing against Necro a lot, it's a must-have, I think. Must include in your deck, in my opinion. Looks like he has a Gift of the Serpent and a Mismanaged Mortuary in his hand. Didn't quite see the rest of it. So Gift of the Serpent. Draws him a card. It also gives an allied minion lethal, which could be helpful if you take over tokens and then attack. So he does do that. He's going to use the frog, give it lethal. Although I wonder if, not that it really, really matters, but I wonder if a frog attacking for 0 power, if that still is considered lethal. I'm going to assume so, but let me know in the comments if that's actually not the case. I'll kind of quietly look up the codex here. But otherwise, he could have put it on his skeleton and done the same thing. But he put it on his frog, and I said, go ahead. Didn't really question it. At the time, I didn't think it was weird. Now I'm wondering if it is. When I look up let's read the word for lethal. It's a keyword. Any damage a lethal unit deals to a minion is enough to kill it. It says, though, in parentheses, remember that 0 damage is not damage at all, so it'll need to do 1 more damage to do it. So, Cameron, if you happen to be watching this, you can't do that anymore. No, just kidding. But you can't do that with a frog at 0 power, giving it lethal and attacking it. It's not dealing any damage. So unless you give it a trinket or something like that to allow it to deal some damage, it does not work. So we didn't catch it in this game. It's fine. It's a sorcery. I think if anyone watches the game regularly, you already know that it's a game that you learn every single week. And then swing it in for 6 big ones. And I'm just looking at my situation going, yep, I can't block any of that. So.
One of the skeletons. Yeah. I'll take 3.
Oh, he decides to. Oh, one of them just came in, actually. Sorry. So only one can attack. I take 3, which is a little bit of a relief. But again, unless I top deck a Pied Piper myself, this just feels rough. Not like I'm necessarily dying or losing. I just don't have anything to block with. And I can't make any skeletons to block with. Basically shuts down my avatar until I find my own Pied Piper or get rid of his.
The site, but I'm deciding where to put it.
Yeah, and I just go ahead and reveal that I have a thin ice that I'm trying to figure out where I'd like to put it. I'm thinking having it right there. That way I kind of have, I don't know, it's kind of a weird spot, but then I have this whole row of thin ices that can, drown whatever he has to the right of it if I can get a Koi Dixie and just pull stuff over. Especially because he could probably still make at least 1 or 2 more horrible hybrids from his collection. And then Cameron was telling me a story here where he was ordering some original artwork, I think, and every time he ordered, it would get lost in the mail. So he was very proactively looking at SorceryCon in person to buy some art and take it home with him. Or if he was going to order art and it was going to be mailed to him, that he would offer to go and pick it up is the story that is being told here. So that's unfortunate. I think he said he'd ordered at least once or twice, and in both cases, the original art or whatever it was that he bought got lost in the mail. So he was really nervous about buying original art.
Yeah, that's what I was like, I literally told her, please just.
So yeah, that's really scary. I've yet to lose anything in the mail as far as my card purchasing and my selling, which is, you know, knock on wood,
Yeah, dude.
is never an issue, but that would really be a bummer to order any sort of merch or art.
I'm gonna Lacuna entity here.
All right, so finally get rid of his Pied Piper.
At least get my frogs back. They don't really
I get my frogs back. They don't necessarily untap, but I do have at least one that is untapped that I can move onto my own Gilman house. And then there's a couple untapped that are under my, they're submerged under my home site. But I could move that single frog over just to get my own horrible hybrids. And then of course, if they attack with their own horrible hybrids, I have blockers now. So I'm opting to, okay, I should probably get these submerged frogs on top. So at least in some future turns I can block. And it cost me all my mana to do the Lacuna, so
that was my only move.
yeah, unable to do anything else.
Wild game, bro.
Yeah,
Cameron says this is a wild game. I agree. This is, again, the mirror match is always, Sorcery is such a, gosh, I get giddy talking about it, but it's such a cool game. And at the time of this recording, Eric's Curiosa did just release their teasing that they're going to be having like a competitive play schedule for 2026. Really, really excited to see how that pans out, as it sounds like their mission statement is, rather than try to have like really cutthroat, high stakes, you know, sweaty meta competitions, it's more about, I think they use the expression of like, rather than having like a ladder, they have a circle that widens, if that makes sense. Like the table's getting wider, basically, essentially saying we want there to be like a big variety of tournaments and it to be inviting to, and I just sack a frog to block his attack, because I'll have some frogs on my following turn to sack into the Gilman house.
You got one? Nice. Piece of the bay.
But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how competitive play plays, but it seems that their mission statement is very clear that they want there to be competition, but they want it to be like casual friendly too. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if they're going to have just like maybe like unique tournaments where one example is there's an event I'm going to tomorrow at my local game store in Portland, where I don't know if it's an officially sanctioned thing by Eric's Curiosa. I'm actually not sure. I just saw it last night and said I'll sign up for that. But it's a kind of alternate style constructed event where it's a limited number of avatars that you can choose from. So I believe it was Avatar of Earth, Battle Mage, Dragon Lord, some of the lesser played avatars, but still very good. And they did allow that if you don't own Avatar of Earth, then you can proxy it. So I'm going to be trying that. I've never played it, but I'm building an Earth with a little kind of a, I guess, dust or whatever, like Earth with air deck that I just found on Eric's Curiosa, and I'm going to try it. But I did have to make my own Avatar of Earth proxy card, and I'll make sure and take a photo and show it here because it is not good. But it is mine, and I will be bringing it tomorrow, and it should be hilarious. Hope people get a kick out of that. Yeah, I coming back from SorceryCon, I was kind of going together and putting together all of my trades, you know, for sale. I had some, you know, some foil uniques and some sealed products and stuff that I was looking to sell. And I finally decided to pull the trigger on buying all of the the alpha avatar precons. So for those that don't know, the game started as a Kickstarter, and the original precon decks for alpha have 4 exclusive avatars to it, and you can't get them anywhere else or anywhere outside of those, and they're quite expensive. Yeah, I was kind of not anticipating buying them this year, but when I had sold enough cards to have like a few $100 saved up, it was like, maybe I'll just bite the bullet, and I did. So it'll be really fun to get to play with a proxy Avatar of Earth, knowing that I do have a real one coming in the mail in a few weeks.
All right, I'm gonna tap.
I'm ordering it from New Zealand, so it might take a little bit to get here, and hopefully, now knock on wood, I'm nervous it's gonna get lost in the mail. I hope it doesn't, but assuming it arrives, I'll have all those original avatars. I'm really excited to try Avatar of Air especially, but Avatar of Earth should be pretty fun too. I've played against it a few times enough to see that it's really fun. It reads, it has +1 power for each nearby Earth site, and it has 1 power by default. So basically by default, it has 2 power. And so if you can get like meat hooks and things onto it, royal guards to help soak up damage for it, you can really swing in, and it just sounds like it'll be fun. So looks like we sacrifice one of the frogs in order to cast a Gnarled Wendigo. You can lower its casting cost by 2 for any other minion that you sacrifice in its place. So save a little mana by doing that. Move over a frog.
Would be tapped when it comes in, correct? Yeah. Okay.
We do transform it into horrible hybrids.
That's there.
It stays tapped. He has one of his own.
I will then pay 4.
And it looks like we pay our final 4 and just get a nice Sacred Stag. Again, another sticky minion. He has one of his own. Just really hard to get rid of. It's warded. It's 4 power. It's just good. And when it dies, you have the option to ward the site that it dies on. So that can sometimes be relevant too. If I find a way to kill or drown his stag and he goes, yeah, great, but I'll ward my site. It's like, I forgot about that. That can be pretty effective. And then I apologize to him as I'm passing my turn because I forgot about Lacuna Entity.
If you don't mind.
And I say I'm going to move an attack. He'll probably just block with his skeleton.
Oh, it can't move.
Oh, and he can't. Yes. Can't move and block, so I take 4. Always feel a little bad missing that after saying go ahead, but he hadn't drawn a spell just yet, so luckily we caught that. Again, I've been saying it in every video, but just word of wisdom. I recommend at the beginning of any match, maybe just chat with your opponent and just say, hey, are we cool with takes these backsies as long as there's no new info, just make sure everyone's on the same page. I've never had any problems with it in Sorcery, but you would hate for it to lead to something where it turns into a judge call or an argument where it's Sorcery. We're here to have fun, but I think as long as maybe you talk to the opponent, they say, you know what, I don't want to do takes these backsies, and you go, okay. They don't have to allow it. It's not in the rules at all. So I've never had a player say no, but I would just advise it. Just to be safe. Yeah, so again, just going back to the thought on the competitive play for 2026, it's going to be interesting. They haven't really shared any lower level details, except for that they're just renaming some of the events. I think it was like the grand contest or the big contest is the new word for the crossroads. I think cornerstones are staying cornerstones, which are like the LGS level events, where crossroads were like the big events. I think they're changing that word to, it was like big contest or something like that. And then the big annual tournament for the year is called Avatar of the Realm. That will probably be like the Grand Prix equivalent of Sorcery, of once a year, we're here to, I don't know if it'll be cutthroat, but I don't know. I could imagine if Eric's Curiosa, if they made a real deliberate effort to get to say that their mission statement is to kind of keep the game, let's just call it, to keep it kind of casual, I guess. I would imagine that they're probably going to have some sort of like different awards at the events where it's like, hey, first place, first 4 players get foil rainbows, top 8 get some play mats and things like that. But there's also like, maybe style rewards or someone who played an avatar that's not as common, or the youngest player. I don't know. Last place gets something. I'll be really interested to see what that turns into. We're all on the edges of our seats. But already going to an LGS tomorrow playing an Avatar of Earth in a limited avatar pool competition gets me excited for the possibilities for events coming up. I think that is a really cool idea. We're having a tournament with only, let's say, 8 different avatars. So you have to pick one, and then you have to know that, okay, the meta changes completely if there's no, like, for example, there's no necromancers in those avatars that I'm playing in. So Pied Piper of Hamelin isn't going to be as good because you're just not going to have a need as much to have all those 1 power minions. I mean, maybe you still do, but I think that'll be really interesting. And I'm really excited to see where it leads. So just looking at my own horrible hybrids, it looks like I've only cast, I believe, 2 so far of mine, and I only run 3 in my sideboard. So have 1 more we could make from a frog. Our stag feels like it's in a decent position. Gnarled Wendigo is in a decent spot if he wants to move to my peculiar port on the bottom left there. I believe that's his horrible hybrids. I know that, sorry, it's kind of glaring off of the sleeve, but I believe that's his horrible hybrids on my thin ice. That's another thing. If I can get something onto the thin ice and drown it, that could be good.
Okay.
But probably good to leave my gnarled Wendigo there, as it could possibly get pulled into the thin ice. Well, the thin ice doesn't trigger until the end of my turn, though, so it's what makes it so good. They can't use the thin ice against you on their turn. Shapeshift, baby.
On this frog here.
Oh, goodness. Opting to shapeshift a frog. Let's see if we get any glimpse of these 5 cards.
4.
I think I'd be surprised if my previous self here remembered to show the camera.
Oh, what? No way.
Not a single minion.
Chill out. No way.
Oh, not a single minion.
And artifacts, all of them.
No way.
That's probably a second.
No. You still shuffle and put them at the bottom, correct?
No, you may.
No. Look at next 5 spells. You may transform. Choose a minion, one of them.
Yeah, and I'm not transforming them.
But you still shuffle.
And then just confirming that he's just saying, hey, you will have to shuffle your deck still.
Look at the next 5 cells. You may choose a minion from among them and put the rest on the bottom. Ah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So one of now finally showing it, Call to Sea, Meat Hook, Swap, toolboxes. And they all go to the bottom in a random order.
Unbelievable.
Golly. So brutal. It's literally like the worst case scenario.
So that frog is still here.
Oh, you get a single, your good spell.
That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Really, really rough.
That's really, yeah. I mean, I play this deck. I play this deck a lot. This is actually the deck that I play the most, and I've never. And I played a ton of shapeshifts in my life too. And I've never won.
So admittedly, at this point, I was quite bummed. Had to spend most of my mana to do that, only to whiff. Frog is no longer going to be transforming it into anything cool. So we have to rethink our entire plan, because we thought we'd maybe have,
Kill your horrible hybrids.
a way to transform the frog and kill the horrible hybrid. So instead, I just attack with my stag with the ward to kill that. And then I'm considering moving my gnarled Wendigo, but a part of me wants to just leave it. I wonder... Then if I move here, they both drown.
Trade here.
So they're going to trade either way if I want to move over there. So I'm like, let's just do it. I can transform a new one in the form of a frog. So I think this is my last one in my collection.
This is my 3rd.
Yeah, I just say to my opponent that this is my 3rd one. I don't say that it's my last one. But it is my last one. Just didn't want to reveal that. I moved over my gnarled Wendigo. And then, yeah, maybe just optionally moving a couple of frogs.
I'll bring this frog up.
I move one up.
I'll move this frog up.
I resurface one, and then make a skeleton. And that's probably it.
I guess I should tap to draw a sight.
And then I forgot to tap to draw sight. Always remember to do that. If you're going to do it either way, do it before you do anything else in case that changes your game plan for the following turn. And then I do show my hand. Looked like that was a Garden of Eden and a Maiden Mother Crone.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, playing this forward was bad.
But yeah, again, kind of repeating myself, but I am excited to see upcoming events. Oh, I do see he has a Ruler of Thule. He's got the cool Frank Frazetta version, which is really nice. It's from Alpha, I believe. Quite expensive card, actually. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it'll just be really, I know there are also, like in the Sorcerer Summit, they were doing talks of maybe having events where they do like 40-20 events, which means you have 40 spells and 20 sites, which is, when the game first came out, that's what the deck sizes were because the card pool was so small. And then when Arthurian Legends came out, it went to 50-30. And then when Gothic came out, it went up to 60-30 and then 10 in the collection. And that's where it, at least for now, is staying. And hopefully it doesn't go any higher than that. But unless we get like, alternate singleton formats or things like that in the future, that's what standard will be for the foreseeable future. Also very excited to see multiplayer opportunities. I'm not a big multiplayer fan from other TCGs like Commander and Magic. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But I did try a 4-player free-for-all here at SorceryCon with Roaring Turkey and the Common Sense podcast guys, Zach and Phil, and had so much fun. We also recorded it. So if either of them happen to be listening to this cast for any reason, I am still editing that. I just haven't gotten quite done with it yet. All right, taking 3 here. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it being multiplayer, the play mat that we played on was really, really large, and we played with some custom multiplayer tokens. All right, so Ruler of Thul's coming down. He's going to move and attack with his skeleton, which hits for 2 because of the Ruler of Thul giving +1, and then he moves and attacks. All right, so he's moving to get me to door essentially here because that is 1, 2. And then he's paying 1 to make a new skeleton. So he's going all in here.
So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 guys.
1, 2, 3 from the ruler. 3, yeah, 4, 5 from the skeleton. 6, 7 from the avatar, and then paid 1 to make another skeleton. So it's all right there. Something like a snowball would be awesome here. It's a card I've been wanting to put back into my deck, but whenever I see meta decks and they don't include it, it makes me not want to play it. But hey, again, like I was saying, if we're moving to competitive play and creative play moving forward and just trying to have flavor and just go with your gut, I personally think having at least 1 snowball is worth having. Especially even in Necro, because you lose the tokens, but like, you know, right now if you cast a snowball, it picks up everything, including what, so yeah, I'd have to move my frog and skeleton on my home side out of the way, but I would still hit everything, which would be, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I just meant spell book, but yes, as opposed to a site.
Or move the gnarled Wendigo so that it doesn't die and everything else dies. I think a snowball could go along. I saw a lot of lines.
They're all gone.
Ooh, Lord of Lies is definitely good, especially with my gnarled Wendigo right under his
I felt pretty confident to say bottom
Right
5
now,
big
just-
spells. I was like, yeah.
I'm already at door, but I can at least.
gnarled Wendigo. So it's
Yeah, that's crazy.
moving the gnarled Wendigo was very good in that case then, because what it can do now is if I could trade the skeleton for my other skeleton, he has no way to block, and I can swing for 5 and then cast Ruler of Thul, or the Lord of Lies, and have them fight again for 10 total.
That can block there. That can block there. That can stay there.
And then if I can get another 4 with the Sacred Stag, he has his own stag though, but I can get him 3 with my Horrible Hybrid, so that would be 10. And then 1, 2, 3. I'm at 13.
And then we just make that. Probably fine.
I wouldn't get him to
Okay.
door, but I could also, but the other option is like to kill his Ruler of Thul. So it's like if I don't want to try to like rush him to door, I could just have Gnarled Wendigo fight the Ruler of Thul, then cast Lord of Lies, and then have that fight something, then trade the skeleton. Like I can really wipe out what he has on that bottom left. I think Ruler of Thul is more of a threat than the fact that I'm at door, unless he has the zap or you know what? He's not running. No, he does have 1 air. So I don't know. Yeah, he drops a toolbox and a zap or a snowball or something. So
I'll attack your
attacking Ruler of Thul.
I'll block with the skeleton.
Okay.
Maybe a mistake from me.
I'll pay 6.
I think that was bad.
Lord of Lies.
Yeah.
Have it fight the Thul.
Yeah, that was bad. I should have attacked my skeleton into his,
Still removed 2.
and then attacked with Ruler of Thul, and then had it fight either another skeleton or his avatar, and just removed everything. So that was a mistake.
Still kind of scary,
Still worked, but that could have been much more effective.
especially if you have Ice Lance or something in your hand. That will be bad.
And since he's right next to me, I'm worried about like something like Ice Lance,
Bad for me if I want that. But if I
because he'll get to choose what gets hit.
maybe it's fine. Ooh,
So I'm thinking I need to move my avatar up
we're also completely
and away from him.
Oh, it fires is nearby. Once you may have 2 target units. I apologize. Do you mind if I play this here
Yeah, you can play that.
and then have these 2 fight, or have this fight the Ruler of Thul? Sorry about that.
I just asked if he was fine if I just didn't stack the Lord of Lies and just had it. I thought Lord of Lies had to do it like on the side it's on, but it's nearby. So I just asked, do you mind if I just have this here and have them fight?
No matter what. Let's tap. I'll Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden, so can't draw any additional spells. So I do have Maiden Mother Crone, which will be affected by that, but it's okay.
You may have just had it, and I'm just like playing for no.
I think this is more of me like, well, you either have it or you don't, and if you do have it, I'd rather at least prevent you from like drawing extra spells to try to find it if you're looking for a toolbox or something. I'm just praying here. I frankly am like, I think that's it. I don't think it's anyways, you know, Snowball would kill me, Ice Lance would kill me, Zap from the collection would kill me. But then based on how he drew in his thinking here, it makes me think, okay, maybe he doesn't have it yet. But Guard of Eden can at least help prevent him from digging for it in different ways with like Riptides and stuff like that. The fact that he's thinking and looking makes me think he does not have it this turn, which is a huge relief for me. And we were able to clear a lot of what is in the bottom left. So if I can just maintain and just prevent my Necromancer from taking any damage, we should be okay. Looks like he has a Warhorse, and I think I saw a Symmetric Suffering. So Symmetric Suffering won't be great for him because I have so many things to choose against. He can sacrifice one of his own minions for me to sacrifice one of my own, but I get to choose, and I have frogs and skeletons and stuff, so that won't help. If he uses the Warhorse to charge in, I have plenty of blockers.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the table's flipped.
Say again?
I'm not really sure the table's flipped this hard, but yeah, this is. I think
Because you ruler fooled over here.
Yeah,
now,
well, no,
yeah.
I'm saying like I just because you have so many.
You did give me the door, yeah.
Sounds like he's maybe reconsidering. Oh man, I did get you to door, but now I'm kind of stuck over here.
I'll attack you with skeleton.
I'll block with a... Yeah, sure, skeleton.
I decide to just let him trade with my skeleton. Which may be a mistake. I don't know. Giving a frog might be fine. But then I kill his skeleton, so felt okay.
Yeah, I gotta run.
Rather than let his skeleton survive.
Warhorse this up.
Yep, so he carries his stag, moves forward, and then attacks.
I'll block with the frog.
He moves and attacks my stag, but I just block with a froggy. So now I'll have the option to kind of do that my turn, just trade our stags. He's considering casting a skeleton or creating one from his avatar, but
Yeah, I can't get away from the Orlies. So scary. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
That's turn.
maybe he doesn't want the additional power on that thin ice in case I can pull in his horrible hybrids. I'm not certain. He still has 16 life, so I still have a ways to go, and he does have, you know, a considerable amount of pieces of cardboard on the field.
3?
3 cards in hand for the opponent.
I could do that, but that doesn't really help me. If I do...
So I'm just walking through the hand that I can't see. So again, I apologize that we can't really see the hand here.
I think I may as well do that.
Room for improvement. I will be working on that for future events so that we can actually see what our options are.
Right. Let's,
Maiden Mother Crone is one of them. I wouldn't gain 3 life because I'm at door.
Then it's just 5, 10. It's not enough. Debating if I want to sight or not.
Opting to draw a spell. Off the top, we get a Koinixie. So we are 1 mana short from being able to cast both the Koinixie and the Maiden Mother Crone. Even if we casted Maiden Mother, we can't use her effect to draw extra spells or gain life, but we can drain him for 3. So that may be something we want to, we can cast it and then sacrifice it to turn it into a horrible hybrids. Although I think I've already cast all of mine, unfortunately, but I was just thinking of all the ways you could
Okay.
potentially do that.
I'll tap the draw sight.
Tapping to draw sight before we do anything else. If I know I'm already going to do it, might as well do it now. Of course, we can't see it. Sorry about that. Paying 3, I think, for the Koinixie somewhere over here. Okay.
I'm going to have it pull in your Necromancer.
Ooh. Pulling his Necromancer over. Oh, that's brutal. With the Lord of Lies, so have them fight. So he takes 5, and then another 5, 10.
Still have to swing in either way. So I'm going to move and attack your Necromancer.
Attack for 6.
Have them fight. That's 12. And then this will attack 17.
Right, yeah, so sorry. Yeah, attack with Lord of Lies for 6, have him fight for another 6, then swing again, door. And now he's stuck on my side.
I'll go ahead and I'm shaking. I'll go ahead and
I'm super nervous at this point because he just had us on the back foot, and now it's looking like we're stabilizing, but he still has the opportunity to get us. I'm going to trade our Sacred Stags. We're already at door, so I'm not worried about his horse. He has horrible hybrids and some other minions and stuff, but as long as he doesn't have like a zap, I'm feeling pretty confident. Which was not how I was feeling just the turn before, so.
Move this here, pay 1, make
I think it's safe to move 1 out of the way because we have another frog to block. We also have a horrible hybrids to block with, and then I create a skeleton.
2, 3.
And we're now going to turns, so.
Turn 0 now. So when I pass this turn, it'll be
Yep,
1,
so this is turn 0. He'll get a turn 1, then I'll get a turn 2. So
So I get 1. No, I'm sorry to say, but yeah.
we're both at turns.
My point is that I have
Sorry, we're both at door, but he gets 2 more turns.
And I have 3 mana left. I don't think I have any way to spend it that I can.
I have 3 mana, but I have no way to spend it, so I'm
going to.
almost reluctantly passing my turn, praying he doesn't top deck what he needs. He's rubbing the top of the deck.
No, that really flipped. Yeah, you had me so like.
And I think he's just admitting, I think you got me, dude. Like, I don't think I have a way to prevent the damage. You have 1 final turn to get me. So, like, if you know, we're at turns just a turn before this, right? He may have been able to survive long enough to at least get the draw, which never feels good. Right now, the way draws work is not great. It counts as a loss for both players, which is a bummer. You'd think a draw would count a little higher than a loss, so at least it's, like, somewhat. But maybe that will change. Again, with the new competitive play information coming out. Looks like he does have a Raiders, so he would need a way to clear out. I just have too many blockers, I think. I've got at least 4 with the 2 frogs, a skeleton, and a horrible hybrids next to my avatar, but I believe I have another minion just below it that's not the horrible hybrids. Okay, he's doing symmetric suffering. Maybe just hoping I sacked the wrong thing. I think I just probably opt to sack my tapped skeleton here.
Okay.
Right? Because I'd rather, yeah, it's his second to last turn. Yeah, get rid of the skeleton because it's tapped down. And he concedes, laughing and just saying, "I was just messing with you." Like, he really had me nervous. Cameron, it was an honor. It was nice to meet you. Very, very close game. Very, very good game. I was very excited to win it, but that could have gone either way. Really, really cool. Mirror match Necromancer, I think is always. I think mirror match in any matchup is always a good time because we both are playing around each other. But he also has different thresholds. So, it's like we are doing the same things, but we're also not. So the 2 Gilman houses in the middle was really exciting. I thought that was really just different. And again, it's just part of the beauty of this game, Sorcery, that I hope goes well as Eric's Curiosa is coming out with details on their plans for competitions in 2026. I really do hope that we do see some unique ways in which they run tournaments that are, I don't want to say just casually friendly, but it like allows for people to want to experiment with new decks and new ideas and creative things. Rather than just going for the meta decks. So it sounds like they're going to be, I'm curious to see what their thoughts are, like on how they're going to do that. I have no idea how that's going to go, but I'm very excited and I look forward to it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back with round 5 from SorceryCon and I'll see you then. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.